All right. This is the 7-day mass blast for lagging body parts, including the penis. So I want to do a calf transformation during this. And because when I train my calves, no matter what I do, without you doing it in the context of the mass blast transformation with things like HGH, IGF, insulin, these type of things, the calves don't grow. But I have actually grown my calves when I did the mass blast transformation. So there are certain body parts and certain muscles that if you give them enough stimulation when they're under this amount of calories and this hormonal stimulation, that when normally they wouldn't grow, they actually will grow under these conditions. And we want to know also Trevor's opinion on something like the penis. Like if we work the penis during this period of time, is the penis also going to grow? And is this a good time for a calf transformation? Do we have all the ingredients necessary to build more muscle on our calves in 1 week than what normally people could do in about 3 years?
Yeah. Yeah. So the if you want to go for a penis transformation, yeah, 100%. Because think about it, we're talking about myostatin, being the primary thing, right? In regulation of muscle growth. Well, when you take away, when you have all these hormones and you have things causing proliferation, you have things causing hyperplasia, you have damage, you do Kegels or stretches, you're causing micro tears. What is the body's response to that, right? And if that's happening at an increased rate when you do those exercises normally, and then you do certain drugs that engorge it with blood and actually do cause growth of it in all organs, and then not just that, but places of stimulation and inflammation as well. Adding something like PGF to it would even exacerbate or increase that. But you're going to look at, because it does this already. I mean, it grows already on a transformation. But if you really put the time and effort into doing stuff like that, like Kegels and all that, and then do something like PGF, site specifically and stuff, yeah, it would definitely 100% it would happen.
So is there any way that we should be priming our penis? Like, let's say that currently we're not doing any sort of penis extension. Should we get the equipment and start using it so that we know how to use it properly during the mass blast, or you know what I mean? Like what kind of a penis routine can we begin to do?
Something about equipment and penis in the same sentence is a little scary. I don't know what exists for this stuff. I really don't. I'm not an expert, but I would say that in the normal preparation of just going out and being a whore should be enough. It being on Viagra and everything else. Although you are in Thailand, so your pick is kind of far and few between. Excitement. So it might not be the best place, but you got to do it. You got to do it, yes.
So, don't you think trying to pretend he doesn't like Thai girls or lady boys? Trevor likes Latinos.
Latinos.
Latina, potato, patata.
But what time of the day could we have sex? Because we're going to be working out and then eating all this food, we're probably not going to really be able to have sex after we eat at the buffet and do all that stuff. So should we prioritize like a fat burning penis growth phase early morning before we go to the gym?
Well, you're really only working out for 2 hours, and then I mean, the thing that I was always taught was no matter what you're doing in the daytime, when it comes to the bedroom, like you should also, it doesn't matter what you did in the day, like you bring it to the bed and you should be able to perform and then outperform yourself. So I don't know how to say it other than like a football coach, but you just get in there and fucking perform.
I like use it or lose it. So it's just use it more.
Somebody else will.
So every day on the mass blast, we have to mandatory have sex and use our penis.
Well, the protocol that I used to grow my penis significantly, like it made a huge difference, although it's just like a muscle. If you don't keep doing it, it goes back to normal size. But like I was massive when I was jelking it every day, twice a day, 20 minutes. That's 40 minutes a day. Jelqing is where you squeeze it and you pull. So like the blood is accumulating and stretching out every cell in it, plus you're pulling and stretching the tendon at the same time. And then you don't orgasm, because if you orgasm, your penis gets very small afterwards. If you do orgasm, if you don't orgasm, your penis will stay more stimulated and stay bigger. There'll be more blood flow. So I didn't orgasm, and I did that for 20 minutes per day, and it made a massive difference. And I was taking these pills at the same time, and I don't know what was in the pills. Could have been a complete scam. Maybe it was just the Jelqing. But this is the type of stimulation that I know that works. Whether those pills were some kind of hormone that helped, well, no matter what, our mass blast is more of a hormonal stimulation than that. And if it wasn't hormones, then imagine doing this technique, which was very effective by itself, in conjunction with the hormones. So that worked.
Well, it sounds like what you had was hypertrophy, because it got bigger and then you stopped using it and it got smaller. But it sounds like you weren't able to have hyperplasia, right? Which is what we're trying to do.
No matter what, you'll get hyperplasia to all cells in your body, including organs. It's just how much, right? That's why I was saying PGF. Doing PGF in that area is what's going to cause that to develop and grow at a abnormally fast rate, especially when paired with the mass thing.
What is PGF? I've never heard of that.
Prostaglandin, and it causes inflammation.
Growth factor?
In your muscle. No, when you. Yeah. I mean, it's just, all it is a compound that is released when there's stress on a cell that gives a signal to the body that this cell needs repair. So like when you train really hard, you create the inflammation in the muscle. That's why when we take arachidonic acid, it creates more of that inflammation, and then your body overcompensates by repairing it even more.
Okay.
So we would inject this directly into our penis?
I have the prostaglandin. We can inject. We can inject it if you want, but it's really painful, and it's not. I mean, it's a terrible experience. The other way to do it is create inflammation through mechanical overload. So, like that, by working the penis really hard and creating inflammation, you're creating the same effect. But obviously, if you inject it, you're going to get the highest possible concentration.
It swells up. It fills up a lot, and that's the thing, is they use that especially in porn, because it stays swollen. It stays swollen a lot longer. So Viagra or not, it's just going to stay hard.
Oh, okay. I see.
Keeps those supermodels elected.
So that I was trying to combine calves and penis because it's kind of the same thing, but then this kind of ended up just being about penis. I'm going to do a separate clip about the calves because I really do want to focus on this as a calf transformation. Might as well. We're going to have all the right chemistry in our system, and we're going to measure our calves before and after anyways. It's like, might as well give a little bit of extra attention to calves, seeing as, like I said, you can train your calves for years and make no progress. And yet in this 1 week, you can make a huge amount of progress on your calves. We want to take advantage of it.
Yeah, Tony, on a side note, when you were talking about hormones that could help, actually like HCG or something that stimulates your FSH and LH is actually what does increase it, like increasing testicle size. That's also something that does hold true to your dick as well. If you are going to do a hormone, then it would be something that increases that. So there's some studies on that too to look into. But if, on a side note, also, if you want to know, there was a Joe Rogan podcast where a guy went looking for dinosaurs in Africa, like 1960s or 70s and stuff. Well, he found out what they said in Africa, why all their dicks were big, because all of the tribes people were just like hanging out, like no clothes and shit. So like all their shit was like hanging down to their knees and stuff. And he was asking him because he's Asian. So it was like the two polar opposites, right? And what they said was, you guys always wear like underwear, really tight underwear. And it's always like pushed up and sucked up against you. Well, here we just let it hang, and with gravity, even with your balls, they just start to drop and dwindle. And so over time, you keep doing this, and it just, gravity will eventually keep pulling it down and down and down. and that's what they were saying was happening in Africa, like the tribes people and people around Africa.
So wear looser underwear.
So what you're saying is during the entire mass blast transformation, we have to be naked throughout the entire thing. We can't wear clothes.
All right, we're going to look up the research on the HCG and HMG for as a potential penis enlargement supplement as well. And then next we're going to talk about the calves for the mass blast.